Right, I would be lying if I sat here and said I was confident in Usyk winning this fight. But this fight here has proven that Tyson Fury is 100% on the decline. I've been noticing signs from it earlier on, but I think one decision he made going into this fight, which has cost him a lot, is going down in weight. And that's not the main thing. The main thing we have to get from this is that Usyk is a better fighter than him all round. And I did believe that before. I thought the main contributing factor to why Fury would have a good chance of winning it would be because of the weight. And weight is a big thing. But we have seen in other sports, such as the UFC, and occasionally in boxing, when a small guy comes up, the bigger guys can be exposed. But you don't really always see it in boxing. For example, when you saw Canelo go up against Dimitri Bivol, he didn't look great, even though Bivol's the bigger guy. But again, that's a skill issue. And I believe here, this was a skill issue mixed in the decline with Tyson Fury. And I just can't believe, I'm not going to go into the thing about Ukraine, because the one thing I'll say about Fury, when he made that comment, he is known for being delusional after fights. He is known, remember, this guy just got flattened almost to the ground. He took so much damage, and he was taking so much damage over the past, 7 fights, that whether it's physical, whether it's, in his brain, CTE, that's a huge thing. He will say, some dumb things after the fight because of the adrenaline, plus he's not really aware of his state. What's the word? Not unconscious. His brain isn't fully with it. I just can't think of the word right now. But anyways, Usyk, his left hand is so underrated. Well, not really, because everyone talks about it. But Tyson Fury is just too arrogant in that cage, because you'll notice with him, he's taunting him. He's trying to be like Muhammad Ali. He's got his back up against the ropes. He's wiggling his hips. Why are you dancing when you're against a guy like Usyk? Okay, you're doing well with the lead uppercut. You're catching him and you're kind of backing him away. And it looked like at one point from the early rounds in the fight that he was going to get finished. But then when I'm looking at the scorecards, I'm thinking, are we watching the same fight? For me, again, I'm sorry to sound like I'm copying everyone else, but I was in the 115 to 12 category. I don't think it was 114 to 113, because one thing you notice with Tyson Fury fights is, in close fights, when he gets put down, which I believe has happened at least 70% in the last 10 fights, so 7 out of 10 or whatever it is, he usually is able to come back, and I might be wrong about that stat. But one thing about Usyk is, because he's so technical, and probably the most technical boxer he has fought, and I'm not going to say about Vladimir Klitschko, because although he was very technical, he was a bit older then, and Usyk is one of these guys where the height difference didn't look as big as what you would have thought as well. Before, he's known to be 6'9", which we all know is wrong, because when he stood next to Alex Pereira, he might have been 6'7", probably. At a push, 6'8", but I don't believe that. And then when I'm looking at the judges' scorecards I forgot to go into, not only did they get it wrong, but you have one judge scoring the fight for Fury. And okay, with the Francis Ngannou, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, because when I was watching it, I actually did score it 1 round to Fury. But I know none of you are going to agree with me. You're probably going to say Ngannou won that fight, which is a fair debate to make. But in this fight here, there is no debate for Fury winning that fight. I don't even think there is a debate for a draw. I think the fairest result you could do is for Usyk. Because one, Tyson Fury is too bothered about dancing about in the ring, putting his hands up like he's won the fight in the 5th round. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you celebrating against a guy who's not going to quit, who, even when adversity is coming towards him, is still trying to come to you, and he's never looking to really be on the back foot. And you've got Fury, who's just pretty much making himself look like a mug in there. And regarding the knockdown, I'm sorry, I cannot believe this referee gave him the benefit of the doubt. And with Tyson Fury, it's a known thing that referees love to give him a chance to get back into fights. Go back and look at the fights with Wilder. There were moments in the fight, Wilder's got that powerful cross. When it lands onto your chin, it puts you down. And I'm not talking about the round 9 one, I'm talking about the late one. I believe it was round 11. I'm talking about the first fight with Deontay Wilder. When he gets put down, the referee even admitted in a BT, now called TNT Sport interview, that I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to give him a bit of time so that, and I believe his name was Reese. He was the guy who did the Logan Paul KSI fight, one of them referees. And he said, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I saw his eyes wide open. If that is any other referee with some fighter who is much lower ranked, when they're seeing him fall back to the floor like that and take his time to get back up to the feet, most referees are calling that off. And why am I bringing that up? Well, I'm bringing that up to make the excuse that, well, not even an excuse, but the example that in this fight here, the referee has done the same thing again. Like, you can even go onto YouTube. Yes, he is way better than Deontay Wilder, and he won those fights even though he got knocked down. These referees love giving Tyson Fury bonus time by doing small things like telling the opponent to go to your corner instead of starting the count, which you could argue is a fair thing to say because you need to be in your corner. But with this one here, that was ridiculous because I was just waiting at that point, even though I did not want it to happen at that moment, for someone to throw in the towel because he was getting pummeled, that left cross. And one thing that he couldn't do, which he does to every other opponent by clinching onto them after being hit with a big shot, he couldn't do it because Usyk's got this good thing of very good distance management where he doesn't stay too close into the pocket, like uppercut range, to where Fury can grab hold of him. Fury was looking to land the uppercuts, like kind of at range. I don't know how to describe these uppercuts, but they weren't like the ones against Derek Chisora, where they were in the pocket and he was just level changing really low and getting caught with the uppercut. It wasn't the level change. It was these out of range uppercuts that Fury was able to time with good accuracy, and they were landing on Usyk. But what Usyk made the adjustment to in this fight is, instead of allowing him to do that, he stepped a bit more out of range and looked to start throwing that left hand with more power. And when his back was against the ropes, then looked to level change and then come up with that cross. And then that is where it's causing the problems. Or even the hook, which it looked like it broke Tyson Fury's nose when we was watching live. But I don't think it did. I think it just massively hurt his nose. Blood was starting to come down. What else was I going to say? Oh, Fury, I'm not even joking. As good as Usyk was, John Fury needs to go, and he won't get rid of him, but in terms of he can't be doing his fights, because I've noticed Sugar Hill's coach is trying to tell him, right, I need you to jab, I need you to establish your range and not allow him to get close. But John Fury shouting at him like, Tyson, you need to jab. I can't do his accent because it's like broken. I can't do his voice. He's telling him all this nonsense over the guy who he's actually paid to coach him. And now Fury's hearing two things where his coach is telling him one thing and you've got big John Fury telling him the complete opposite. And now what's he going to listen to? Like, probably his dad. I don't know with Fury. And for me, Usyk just, in my opinion, he schooled him. Apart from those small rounds, like Fury's got a weird thing in his fights where he will either start off fast or slow, he'll give up a few rounds, and then he'll come back and get a bit of momentum, and he'll start to get a like flow of rounds. So you might get like 4, 5, and 6, and then after that, the round momentum will switch again, and then it will go to the other guy, and he can make a lot of fights very close because he always gets knocked down, and his chin, for me, is terrible for a heavyweight. Good recovery, but bad chin. Because Usyk's able to, as a cruiserweight, by the way, rock him like this and have his body all over the place. And for the first time in his career, when Fury has been hurt, he has not been able to recover. This was one fight where you could argue he won round 12. Fair enough. You want to give him that? But apart from that, Usyk won every single round after round 9, apart from round 12, if you want to go there. Because Fury just didn't look the same. His punches didn't carry any effect with them. They were like light touching. It looked like he didn't really want to engage with him. He just wanted the fight to be over. So, finally, even though I'm from England, I'm actually kind of happy that Usyk won. Because Fury has needed this humbling for a long time. I'm sorry. He really has. And I think the next fight for him, with the way everything in the division has gone, it's probably going to have to be against an Anthony Joshua or someone like that, which I would welcome and I would like. But it's starting to make me question, why was this GOAT debate coming up? What, because he beat this Deontay Wilder guy who's known for one-punch power, and he's pretty much, what word can I use? Farmed his record to make it look better than it really was. And then when he comes up against a guy like Fury, who's got the better technical skills than him, with head movement and footwork, and pretty much basically using his jab and doing anything boxing correlated, he beats him. So for me, when Fury's come up against a guy who can match his skill but not his weight, and has now lost to him due to speed, better decision making, I'm not going to say humbleness, because Usyk's just that guy who, he doesn't have to showboat or get carried away. He just goes out there and does the job. And that's what he did. And for Fury, I'm sorry. This was just a whole mess for him completely. But finally, we can say that Usyk is a better fighter than him. His record looks better than Fury. And if you're going to all start calling Tyson Fury the guy, I don't want to hear the debate of, please don't say it. Oh, but Fury was out of his prime, therefore Usyk looked better. No, Usyk was a better boxer than him before. I've always thought this. There's better things that Usyk does than what Usyk does compared to Usyk, if you get what I mean. So there's better things that Usyk can do compared to what Fury can do. And he's smaller. And he doesn't carry as much power. So he has to actually go out there and be more technical compared to Fury, who can use his weight. And that's another thing. For the first time in his career, losing weight has been a negative because, one, your punch resistance isn't going to be as good because you've lost the weight. You're not going to be able to take a punch as well. And it looked like he was doing all right because, remember, Usyk's not a power puncher, so he feels more confident dropping the weight. But not only that, he dropped the weight, which is going to therefore make you weaker in the clinch because you haven't got that additional weight to lean on Usyk with. So you haven't got that benefit. And he didn't even look to use that strategy. He actually went out there to try and outbox Usyk. And that wasn't what I thought he would do. I thought he was going to go out there, normal Tyson Fury style, lean on top of his opponent, and pretty much use his weight to control Usyk. But he didn't. And because of that, Usyk exposed him out there. So for me, that's all I've got to say. But Fury is very lucky. Like, they tried everything. The referee tried. The judge tried. Couldn't work. Finally. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.